Have you ever felt that a rush when a debate starts heating up, when like all the ideas are clashing and everyone's perspective is kind of like colliding?
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
exhilarating.
Right.
But I gotta say, getting thrown into that arena, it can be, well, kind of intimidating.
Absolutely. Like public speaking and debate kind of need you to have a certain level of, comfort and confidence that honestly a lot of people just understandably don't have.
Right, and that's where today's deep dive takes, well, an interesting turn, I think. We're exploring how, get this, virtual reality could totally transform how we approach debate and, get this, maybe even education itself.
Yeah, that's super
We're
interesting.
diving headfirst into EON Reality's brand new virtual interactive debate platform. And let me tell you, they've given us a gold mine of info to work with. Product descriptions, press releases, you name it, we got it.
It really gives you a fascinating glimpse into like this future where technology could give everyone access to debate.
Totally.
And not even just access, but the actual skills to like really engage in thoughtful, constructive dialogue.
Exactly. So, tell me a little bit about this platform. They're using like AI avatars, is that right? And the
Yes.
different debate styles and like customizable environments?
Exactly. What's so cool is that it's like way more than just a digital version of a physical debate space, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like picture this, you get to pick from all these different avatars, right? And then you can choose to do like Lincoln Douglas style or policy debate, even parliamentary. And all of this is happening in a virtual world that's like totally customized to whatever you're debating. It just makes the whole experience way more immersive and engaging, which is perfect for all those different ways people learn best.
See, that's what's got me so hooked. It's almost like, a debate-themed video game. But instead of leveling up your character, you're like sharpening your critical thinking skills
Yeah,
and your communication.
exactly. And it's like more than just a game, though, right? The real star of the show here, at least when it comes to personalized learning, is how they've integrated AI.
Oh, tell me about the AI feedback. That's what blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like, give me an example. How does that actually work?
Okay, so say you're in the middle of making your argument and you tend to talk super fast, especially when you're like really passionate about the topic.
Yeah.
The AI can actually analyze how fast you're speaking, and then it'll give you a suggestion like, hey, maybe try slowing it down a bit during your key arguments.
Wow.
It'll help you really emphasize those points, make sure everyone's following you.
That's incredibly specific
Yeah.
and helpful. It's like having a personal debate coach, but in like the digital world, analyzing your every word.
Totally. And the best part is it's there for you 24/7 so you can like learn and improve on your own time.
This is seriously impressive. They even thought about like research resources, right? I was reading something about that.
Oh, absolutely. They've built in access to this like massive library of reliable sources and articles, and it's all right there within the platform. So let's say you're prepping for a debate on climate change policy. You can instantly get your hands on the latest scientific data, policy analyses, expert opinions, all without ever leaving that virtual environment. It streamlines the whole research process, which is super helpful.
It really seems like they've thought of everything, every single thing a new debater might need, they've got it covered.
Mm-hmm.
But there was this one thing I read about that just blew my mind. You can actually switch sides in the middle of a debate.
Oh, yeah.
That's just not something you can do in a normal debate.
Absolutely. And it's brilliant when you think about it. Like, talk about encouraging empathy and really getting people to understand these complex issues.
Yeah.
In this virtual world, you can literally walk a mile in your opponent's shoes, make their arguments, experience the whole debate from their side.
That's next level. I can see how valuable that would be, not just for like debate skills, but for just like life, like navigating disagreements, having better conversations, all that good stuff.
It's not just about like winning an argument, it's about building bridges.
I love that.
And when you force users to really grapple with the other side, they start to see things differently.
Yeah.
They develop a more, nuanced and empathetic understanding of the issue itself.
This is all sounding really promising, but of course, we got to talk about those potential downsides. We're back. And diving deeper into EON Reality's virtual debate platform before we were about to, get into some of those potential downsides.
Right, right.
One thing that comes to mind is accessibility. Not everyone has the latest VR tech just lying around. Could this like accidentally make that whole digital divide in education even worse?
It's a really good point. And it seems like EON Reality was thinking about that too. They actually talk about having these like lightweight versions of the platform.
Really?
Yeah, and they're supposed to work on things that most people already have, like laptops and even smartphones.
Oh, wow.
And they mission offline resources too, so they're definitely trying to make the main parts of this like accessible even if you don't have a perfect internet connection.
Okay, that's good to know. But even if everyone can access it, how do they make sure people are being respectful, especially with those hot button topics?
Yeah.
It feels like things can get, out of hand so quickly online.
Oh, absolutely.
What's EON Reality doing to make sure it's not just a virtual shouting match?
Totally. Creating a safe and inclusive virtual space is like non-negotiable. Eon Reality talks about this directly. Like, they're big on using content filters to weed out any bad language or like totally inappropriate topics. Plus, they'll have trigger warnings for anything sensitive.
Oh, okay.
And of course, they'll have those community guidelines, laying down the law for how to behave.
So it's kind of like having those debate club rules posters they always have up in classrooms, but like a digital version.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're setting those ground rules for respectful dialogue, just like you would in a, traditional debate setting, but obviously, made for the online world.
Right.
It's all about creating that space where people feel comfortable sharing their opinions, going back and forth with different perspectives, all without like being harassed or attacked personally.
Yeah, that's super important. But let's zoom out for a second. Like, we're spending all this time on these virtual debate platforms, but what does it all really mean for the future of learning?
Right.
Are we going to be ditching classrooms and going to like hyper-realistic virtual schools?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? What we're seeing is like all these trends that were already changing education are now like combining.
Yeah.
Personalized learning, where everything's tailored to you. That's been getting big.
Right.
Online learning, obviously, that's huge now.
Yeah.
And educational technology just keeps getting more and more advanced. Plus, everyone keeps talking about those 21st century skills like critical thinking and working together. So when you put it all together, these VR platforms, they kind of seem like the next logical step.
So it's bigger than just the technology itself. It's about how it all fits into this like shift in how we even think about education in the first place.
Exactly. That old school model of education where everyone's learning the same stuff at the same pace. Yeah, that's on its way out. Technology is letting us make things way more personalized and way more engaging.
Totally. Like, picture a student who's like really shy and gets nervous about public speaking. A virtual space could be the perfect place for them to practice and get more confident.
Exactly. Or imagine a student who just like can't focus in a normal lecture. A super immersive VR experience could be way more their style,
Absolutely. And we can't forget about how this could help make education more, fair for everyone.
Right.
These platforms, they can break down those walls, those geographic ones and those socioeconomic ones. Suddenly, a student in like the middle of nowhere can be having a debate with people from all over the world.
It's like we're leveling the playing field so everyone has a shot at a good education.
It's amazing when you think about it. But, and I know this might sound like old-fashioned, are we losing something by focusing so much on technology? What about that, like, human element of education, that special thing between a teacher and a student? The stuff that can only happen in a real classroom.
That's the big question, right? And I don't think it's an either-or situation. Technology can be an amazing tool to, like, boost education, but it should never, ever replace real human interaction and guidance.
So it's not about replacing teachers. It's about giving them better tools and more ways to teach.
Exactly. They could use these platforms as, like, a supplement. Students could work on their debate skills virtually and then bring all that to the classroom.
It's like taking learning outside the classroom, literally. Students get personalized feedback and practice, and teachers, well, they get to focus on the stuff that only they can do. Mentoring, having deeper discussions, encouraging creativity, and just building those important relationships with their students.
Precisely. It's a new tool, right? But it doesn't replace them.
That's a great way to put it. It seems like education is about to go through some major changes.
For sure.
And, like with any big change, there are going to be incredible opportunities, but also some really important things to think about.
Yeah, we talked about a few, right? Like making sure everyone has access, making sure it's used responsibly, and remembering that human touch is still crucial. As we, explore all this new technology, we've got to keep asking tough questions and making sure it's all being used to create a better learning experience for every single student.
It's like we're, standing on the edge of something huge in education.
Totally.
Watching all this tech get ready to, like, blast off.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It's awe-inspiring, for sure, but also, like, a little intimidating. Definitely something to think about.
It's like we're on this crazy journey, right?
Yeah.
We've got to be ready for anything, be creative when things get tough, and never forget where we're headed. An educational future where everything's different and hopefully better for everyone.
And that brings us to a question for you, the listener. What would your dream education look like?
Like, imagine you could design it from scratch.
Yeah, totally.
Would you use parts of this VR platform, like the personalized AI feedback or that thing where you can switch sides and see things from someone else's point of view?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Or maybe you come up with something totally different.
Right. Like, what about a mix of the latest tech and those, like, essential human connections and real-world things you can't get online?
Maybe it's like a buffet of learning, you know?
Hmm.
Students get to choose what they want to learn, how they want to learn it, and what they want to do with it.
I love that. A learning buffet. Technology can be the server bringing you personalized plates of information. And then teachers, they're the ones making sure you're not, just loading up on dessert.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance, using tech to make education better, not trying to replace the heart of it all.
And at the end of the day, isn't that what really matters? Giving every single person the chance to be their best selves, to have those important conversations, to never stop learning, and to make the world a better place.
Yeah, a future where those great debates, the ones filled with knowledge and empathy and a real love of learning, those happen everywhere.
Exactly. Not just inside a virtual world.
Yeah.
Well, this has been amazing. Exploring these VR platforms and thinking about what they could mean for the future of learning, it's been a wild ride. Hopefully this deep dive has given you some food for thought and maybe even sparked some ideas about an educational future that's as persuasive and transformative as, well, as a really good argument.